All right, lads and lasses, welcome along, Tuppence Tuesday, here once again, Do you know, one of the things I want to talk about, right, is topics really dear to me heart. This is kind of where, like, my heart lies, what I do, how my mind works, what I'm always thinking about. And that's improvements, yeah? Can't ever just get something in and leave it. Now, in the past, 22nd of May, 7th of July, just last week, we've done a couple of videos, like one about getting your data in shape and then one about actually using some of the enhancement tools available. Now, a big thing that you want to do is to be thinking in terms of how am I going to make my life better? How can I make this report better? What can we do? And there's two main areas that are going to really help you sustain any Power BI report or data set. And that's really, firstly, like the data. So if you're saying how we get data today is perfect, I think you really need to give your head a good shake there, sunshine, because I bet you it isn't. There's always going to be ways we could make it better. So, how we get the data is always going to be there. Something we should always be thinking about. How can we continually improve how we get the data? And then that's also going to lead into how we can continually improve the data model. And the two go hand in hand, because as the model gets better, the data has to get better. As the data gets better, the model can get better. The two are always there. So I'll always be thinking in terms of, is this data, is this model, right? Reports, honestly, I wouldn't worry about specific reports if I was you, because it's about data or model. And there's going to be specific reports. Oh, I kind of build this, like, I need this data for that. Exactly, you just said it. I need this data. So we've got to tweak the data and then we've got to tweak the model so that the data comes through the model properly. So it's not about, I want this report. It's about data and model. And once you start to shift and think in terms of data and model, you'll find you take a big step forward, didn't you? So a couple of things in my past. This is like my 2 pence worth for all it's worth in it. This is my channel. I got to put my 2 pence in it. Now, almost every management course, training thing, whatever you want to call them, right? They all come down to this, always this continual improvement cycle. No matter what you're doing, they all say the same thing, yeah? You've got to work to incrementally improve. Yeah, it's like people always say, how do you eat an elephant? One mouthful at a time. Right, right? Thanks. Next time I'm eating an elephant, I'll remember to do that rather than try and swallow it whole. But, you can appreciate what they're saying, Now, the ITIL one, which is kind of where I started, I'm, an ITSM guy at heart, really. ITIL, but, I've looked at Agile, we've done like the Six Sigma, like the green belts, black belts, looking at that. The continual improvement cycle, it's just in everything. And they might have different labels for it, but fundamentally it comes down to the same thing. Like the plan, do, check, act, which is what ITIL, Agile, I'm pretty sure Six Sigma is almost the same actually. Plan, do, check, act. So plan, what you're going to do, plan an improvement, execute a sample of your improvement, validate it. And then if it's good, implement it fully. If it's not good, roll it back, but you know more. Yeah, plan, do, check, act. It's kind of key. That's something you need to be thinking about in terms of your data model. So, and your report packs that then are going to be associated with it. So you kind of get to the point where you're saying, right, my data model, what do I need to do it next? What's the next improvement going to be? And one of the things you're going to have to do is kind of triage stuff. So, I've got ways of triaging things, and I thought, I'll show you some of these things. So for me, I always think in terms of the 3 reasons for change. So you've got your compliance. I've got to do this, man. There's no way around it. The law's changed. What we're doing today is illegal. So, compliance. I've got to do it. That must have change. Sustainability, which would be like, the data, we've got to tweak the data, or, they're changing the system in this area over here. So for that, that's going to affect the feed. So we have to connect the feed to the new server, or we're doing sustainability, just keeping the lights on, as it were, right? Them things. And then the things that everyone else is interested in, and this is the one that seems to get the most attention, really, is improvements. But I hope what you can see is kind of, if you fit that into a pie, you'll see improvement should be, it's that change that you can do it. Well, you can, but you kind of have to justify it. There's got to be a bit more reasoning. So, new functionality, new data expansion, something like that. what is it? Why do we need it? There's a business case that will invariably follow, like an improvement. But once you start to break your stuff down and the asks, the requirements, the requests that come through into compliance, sustainability and improvement, you'll almost immediately start to see how it benefits you. Because all of a sudden you can look and say, right, I've got 10 grand this month. What are we going to put through? I've got 3 compliance issues and a sustainability one and 5 improvements, because you'll always have a ton of improvements, man. No matter what you want to say, you've always got a ton of improvements, and you're kind of going, well, the compliance we've got to do, the sustainability we really should do it, and we might be able to get 1 or 2 of the improvements in. But that's the reality of life, isn't it? You've kind of got to gauge what you're doing, what's business critical, compliance, need to avoid them GDPR fines or something like that. Sustainability, it would be nice if the report still runs tomorrow, versus improvement. Oh, wouldn't it be brilliant if it was bright blue? You can kind of get your head around that, and you can be like, oh, I get this. And that really will help you triage it. Now, I know from my background, ITSM, stuff like that, compliance, sustainability, improvement, they make sense. For some people from business, compliance, sustainability, improvement, I'm hoping they're going to make sense. They're not like IT words. They're not something that's like, to the nice mentioning the flux capacitor or something like that. It's simple, but have a think, yeah? And we'll crack on. Have a quick demo. Would that make sense? Let's do that, eh? That was going back to a Power BI data set, that was going to a COVID. Good old COVID, eh? That's where we seem to keep going with this, isn't it? And in here, if we have a look in here, kind of show you some examples of this, right? Now, if you've been with the channel from day one, you'll know I took the global report here and we just kind of made it look a bit neater, reformatted. I showed you some tips and tricks to do it. It's one of the earlier videos. I'll put a link in the description or something like that, right? Here's the formatted page. If I was doing like full report level change management or something, this would be an example of an improvement, isn't it? Like, there's no benefit to it. There's no, like, to the business. There's no, like... So one of the sustainability things we've done is we had a look and we moved in the Johns Hopkins data set and we put in a merge between, like, the US state and regional report levels. It's not county. I don't know what it is. I don't know the right term, so I'm going to shut up. And the main global data set that really just has countries for most things, except China, which for some reason it's got lots of information about. But that was a sustainability thing, because having a single blob in the US, it's our reach, but looking at how things have turned out, being able to actually see across different parts of the United States, that's made a big difference. That's a really nice thing to have. That was definitely a sustainability. It makes the tool relevant. It keeps the tool worth using. Yeah. Compliance, what we might have is the example that we've got where the variance from global and the whole point of this whole daily change chart was based around exponential growth. Now, as we're going to head towards like a second wave now, like we've had our first wave for a lot of the world's now had its first wave. Have a look in the UK. Can't believe I'm saying this. Have a look in the UK. It's almost looked good now, right? Look at that, that's pretty flat. It looks like everything's going the right way. But the next compliance piece might be, how do we track? How can we effectively measure the change? Because we're not able to use what we're using today in terms of it's following an exponential growth model, because that's not going to make sense, because we're already past exponential. So you've gone exponential for a period, then you've flattened off. And now you're going to go up again. And it's kind of, are you going to go up exponential or are you going to do something else? So it's kind of going to need to be more of a variance in total rather than like an exponential variance, which was that's been planned for. So I'll have to review all those measures and see, is that right? The sustainability piece is around, is this measure valid still here? Now, those of you who watched the video series, I've put this together and we plucked some measures out of the thin air in terms of a percentage for change for this as to whether it's green, amber or red, right? And I've put this, baked it into this model. And I said at the time, this is going to be the biggest mistake that I've made, because there's no scientific background to it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It was just kind of like a bit of a line in the sand and say, right, are you red? Are you green? Are you amber? Now, the thing I love about this is how much it actually shapes my mind, even just looking at it. And I'm sure it's shaping your minds as well. And it's not bad, but it's just not necessarily the right thing to do. So there's a few things we need to do from a compliance and sustainability perspective. And the improvements, well, it's the nice times, isn't it? How can we, how can we make it look neater? Should we hide the visual level headers? I think we probably should. Things like that. So I hope that makes sense. I've probably rabbited on a bit too long, as usual, right? But honestly, compliance, sustainability, improvement, I really bake those into our lives and how we talk about what we're doing within Power BI. Oh, I'm going to make this change for compliance. Oh, I'm going to do this for sustainability. Oh, I'm doing this. I've got an improvement here. And if you start to think through that and triage your requests, you find life is much simpler. So anyway, stay safe out there and keep taking care of yourselves.